Hey y'all, let me see who is here. Y'all are staying with the flow. Y'all are here for day two, night two of the Victim to Victor Challenge. Y'all, listen, I just believe that y'all have been doing well. Okay, y'all tell me, how has this challenge been helping y'all? I want to see who's here. Hey, Atasha. Hey, Jamesia. Hey, Morgan. Hey, Joy, 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 Joy. I need to put my glass on. Hey, Carmen. Y'all, I'm excited about tonight. I really need y'all to take notes tonight. I need y'all to take notes tonight. I need y'all to take notes tonight. While we prepare to get started, right? I want somebody to come in the chat and tell me some of the things that you heard yourself say to yourself today. Tell me some of the things that you've heard yourself say to yourself today. Let me know in the chat. I can tell y'all something that I said to myself today, and then I laughed because this morning I gave y'all the assignment to make sure that y'all are assessing your thought life and you're taking a note of what you're thinking. Baby, today I said, "Ooh, girl, you got to get back in this gym. You is too fat right now." And I said, I just bust out laughing after that. I said, "Girl, did you even have to say that like that?" I had to check myself today. Okay. This here has been challenging. Joy, my God. I wish I could speak like they do. Check your attitude. You know better. I wish I could speak like they do. Wow, Morgan. Yes. Victors. We might as well go on ahead. We're not victims anymore. We are victors. Y'all, it was crazy. And it was very random. Like I have been working, doing everything. And I was like, oh, I need me a snack. And I started looking around my new little house like, I ain't keeping no snacks in here. My grapes went bad. I deserve me a snack. So I'm just saying, I'm getting ready to order me a snack. And then I said, oh, girl, it's time for you to get back in the gym. Look at this. And I said, wait a minute. Who are you talking to? I'm still cute, period. Okay. I told myself, get back into the game. Listen, we have to take inventory, regular inventory of how we are talking to ourselves. Okay. 7:05. So let's pray in so we can go into this teaching because I've been doing good. My team know. I've been doing good. We're not keeping y'all longer than an hour. Under an hour, under 30 minutes for prayer. We didn't really hit that goal yet, but trying to keep it short so that it's processed well and that y'all are tracking with me and y'all can go back and watch these replays. Okay. Never mind. I'm not going to say that. So the power of perspective. Okay. Type in the chat. What do you see? What do you see? Father, thank you for bringing us back again. Father, thank you for being mindful of us all throughout this challenge. Father, I pray that you will reveal to us ourselves through this teaching and that you will reveal to us you in this teaching. Father, be with us. We know that you are everywhere, that even through this live, you can minister to each of us in your own special way. In Jesus' name, amen. So y'all, what do you see? That's good, Joy. I told myself today, I'm really, really trying. That's good. That's good. Okay. So I'm going to go straight into what I want to talk about tonight. I'm not going to do a lot of leading up to it. So I really need y'all to pay attention and take notes. Okay. That's your disclaimer. And make sure y'all share this broadcast. Okay. This is a free challenge. We're getting this to as many women as possible who need to come out of where they've been and redefine themselves as a daughter of God. Okay. What do you see? What do you see? So y'all remember this morning we were in 1 Kings, right? I think it was 19, 1 Kings 19, I believe it was. No, it was not 19. It was 14. Gotta be 14. Maybe it wasn't 14. Maybe it was 19. 18. First Kings. That's where we was at. And we were talking about Elijah sending his servant to go and look for what he knew was already there. And the servant did not see it. He said, I don't know what you're talking about. Right? You said go look for rain. Rain is not here. 18. So I was 18. There we go. You said go and look for a cloud, go look for rain, but it's not here. So I don't see what you see. Right? And we discovered that what if the cloud was there the whole time, he just couldn't see it. Right? His mind could not fathom nothing that I'm about to say his servant, his master, his leader told him to go and look for. Right? So tonight we're going to jump right into thoughts, beliefs, and behaviors. Now, I have to go a little bit more practical tonight, even though this is a combination of practical and spiritual. When I am dealing with people's thought life, I really have to slow down and make sure that you really can grasp what this looks like real time, right? So I do this as a strategist too. I'm making sure that it's something that you can actually take and do, not just information, not just me talking. This is something I actually need you to do. Like when you walk away from this night, you walk away from this challenge, you can come back to this challenge and remember how to do this. Okay. So let's start. I'm going to be a real good teacher tonight. Okay. I don't know. We still going to do what the Lord say. And the preach might come out, but I'm going to try to teach, I promise, and keep it short. So let's start with thoughts. Thoughts are just representations of information. Okay? So you have thoughts, feelings, and emotions, right? You can have a thought about something that makes you feel a way. Okay? So it's just a piece of information. That is what a thought is. Simply put, it's a piece of information that comes into your mind. Okay? I'm not going to get ahead of myself. It's a piece of information that comes into your mind, right? A belief are things that you take and believe to be true, regardless of the evidence. Are y'all tracking? We gonna get to the nitty-gritty, but I got a latest foundation so you know what we're talking about. Thoughts are just pieces of information that come into your mind. Beliefs are thoughts that you take to be true. Y'all understand it? Y'all see where I'm going? Behaviors are external actions produced by your internal world. External actions produced by your internal world. Your thoughts, your feelings, emotions, your beliefs produce behaviors. Okay? So thoughts become beliefs. Thoughts become beliefs. And beliefs contribute to how you choose to behave. Is this making sense? Y'all know I like a talk back, church. So put something in the chat if you know what I mean. Thoughts become beliefs. And beliefs contribute to how you choose to behave. Okay? So here's the interesting thing about thoughts. Thoughts pass through. Beliefs take root. Okay? Thoughts pass through. I want you to imagine it almost like a plane. Like a plane can pass through, something passing through your mind. Beliefs take root. They are thoughts that you choose to hold to take root to make a belief system. Are y'all tracking? Do y'all get what I'm saying? Okay? So your beliefs are built on thoughts, which means that you can choose what you want to think about. Okay, now I'm not saying there's no like grand old revelation, but the reason why I have to make it this simple is because we don't realize how impactful and how influential our thoughts actually are. We just go about the day, maneuvering through the day, thinking things, doing things on autopilot, not realizing your thought life really makes your day. Your thought life contributes to how you choose to behave. Your thought life is the beginning of your beliefs. Now, let's take this into a religious context, right? Religion itself is made up of doctrines. Doctrines are thoughts. Did y'all know that? The things we believe and we take to believe are, what do they call them? Thought, can't get it out. But it makes up a doctrine. A doctrinal belief is made up of somebody's thoughts. That is why. Now I'm going to go here because even when I was writing this out, I felt it. And I said, I don't know if I want to say that, but I'm going to say it because we're going to make it plain. Correct? This is why people choose to be Muslim. It's based on how they think. This is why people choose to be homosexual, because they believe and brought those thoughts to be true. Is this making sense to y'all? What you think leads to what you believe. What you believe leads to how you behave. So what you think about God influences what you believe about God, and then you choose to behave with God based on what you originally thought. Okay? So essentially, you are what you believe. Just go ahead and type that in the chat. You are what you believe. You are what you believe. You can look at a person's character, their disposition, and their actions, and you can tell what they think. You can tell what somebody thinks by their character, their disposition, and their actions. It will tell you flat out. If you are somebody who watches people, if you are like, my most dominant spiritual gift is discerning of spirits, so I can walk into the room and feel everybody instantly. I don't want to. I just walk in and it's like, oh, okay. Well, here we go. It comes in through my nose most of the time. My mentor laughs at me half the time because it's like, girl, it just happens. You can tell who somebody is because of what they think. Okay? So you make the decision of whether you're going to believe what you heard or what you saw. So this means that every thought that comes into your mind, you don't actually have to believe it. This making sense? Every thought that comes into your mind, you don't have to choose to believe it. Okay, so that's why we did, your assignment today was to take inventory of your thoughts, because you can choose once you know what the thought is, because we just think off of thinking is natural for us, right? But if you don't intentionally pay attention to what you are thinking and assessing your thoughts, it'll be a whole bunch of stuff in your mind that you did not ever intend to be there. Y'all, I'm so sick of this. What is this little Apple thing? You choose what you want to think. The thoughts come, but you choose whether they fly by or whether they stay. Do this make sense? Okay, I want to give y'all this scripture real quick. Is this making sense to y'all? So Jeremiah 29:11 in the New King James Version says, "For I know the thoughts that I think toward you." We're just going to take that part. For I know, this is God speaking. For I know the thoughts that I think toward you. Toward. That means every day, all day, the Lord is thinking thoughts toward you. So you have, now this is how I explain it. You have the Lord's thoughts, you have your thoughts from your soul, and you have demonic thoughts. Thoughts being influenced by demonic forces. You have the thoughts that are in your soul that come from your mind, your will, your emotions. Those are also thoughts. You have the thoughts that the Lord thinks towards you. And then you have the thoughts that the enemy and his imps throw at you. You choose what to believe about them. You choose what can stay in your mind. You choose. I typed that in the chat too. I choose. I choose. We're talking about the power of perspective, right? Perspective is basically just the way you think about a thing, the way you choose to see it. Perspective and perception. All of these things are choices. You choose. I am good for, and I tell people this when I'm coaching them, ask your thought a question. Ask your thought a question. When you hear a thought, who said that? Answer that question with a question. Answer that thought with a question. There have been times, now this works because, let me tell y'all, and one of my best friends, she was like, "Oh, that was so good." I don't remember exactly what I said, but basically the enemy, this was some time ago, had shot a thought at me. And in the moment before I asked myself, where did this come from? I kept hearing the thought, and then I start meditating on the thought. Because when a thought is in your brain and you just keep like replaying it, that's meditation. You replaying a thought or a saying or that's a meditation, which creates a thought pattern later down the line. Okay. So in the middle of me continuously hearing it, I said, wait a minute. And I flipped the question to ask a question. And once I said what I said, I immediately knew this is the enemy. This was not me, and this was not the Lord. And what was said was good, y'all, because it made me go, wait a minute. But when I flipped the script, y'all remember we said that earlier? When I flipped the script, I said, wait a minute. Let me flip this around right here and ask this way, and then look at it again. And at that point, the enemy was like, oh, she done outsmarted me. Never mind. Just take the thought out. Just leave her alone. Okay? Does that make sense to y'all? You have thoughts being thought toward you by the Father. You have thoughts being thrown at you. And you have thoughts that your soul thinks. Out of those thoughts, you have to continuously say, who said that? Now, this does not mean be pessimistic or be so intentional that you sit down and think about every single thought, because then that'll just become too much. But you should be listening to what is going on in your mind. You should be listening to what is happening in your mind, right? I'm going to tell y'all this story before I go any further, because as I was writing, I saw this word and I said, so I saw the word that I'm about to tell y'all, and I quickened, and the Lord was like, tell him your story. And I said, you always want to tell on me. I mean, Jesus, am I ever going to be able to minister without you trying to tell on me? But here we are, okay? So, and I have forgot this had even happened, y'all, to be honest. So about this time last year, my therapist diagnosed me with PTSD. Okay? Because I had been living in danger. That's what it felt like. I was always in danger. My mind was consistently telling me you're in danger. So I was paranoid all the time, high levels of stress, high levels of anxiety, aggression, randomly getting upset. I was diagnosed with, now mind you, in my brain, now even though I went to school for counseling, right? It still did not at the time register in my head how you really can have PTSD even if you weren't in a war. Like PTSD is normal for like veterans or something, right? So when she said it and I had to take my little assessment of X, Y, and Z and it came back, I said, well, that's not true. I said, man, my God, I don't have no balance PTSD. Until we went through it. And then I remember that I was in school and I went and read my own books. And I said, oh, so I do have a case of PTSD, right? I would wake up randomly hyperventilating, feeling like I couldn't catch my breath. There would be times where something would happen and it's like the inside of my body would shake. I had no clue what was happening. It was a form of anxiety, but it was like my internal world would shake my body. And I would have to sit on my bed and just sit still, try to sit still, but my body was shaking on its own. It was nothing I could control. Night terrors, everything. I always thought I was in danger. Why? Because of being a victim so many times, my mind told me that I was still a victim. That at any point, somebody was going to endanger me again. And at any point, I had to protect myself. So this PTSD led me to self-preserve dangerously, to protect myself in ways that were not healthy. I'm telling y'all this story because it's going to make sense to what we're talking about tonight. So there will be times when I'm just doing regular stuff. And on the outside, it looks like I'm fine. But on the inside, I am paranoid. It's like, oh, something's about to happen. It's literally like my mind was always like, something is about to happen. Something is about to happen. Something is about to happen. Oh, let me preserve. Let me protect myself. Let me isolate. Let me do this. Let me do this. Let me do this. Let me self-sabotage so that I don't get hurt again. Because in my brain, I was literally diagnosed that my mind, because my brain had been damaged for years at a time, my mind now only knew how to function out of trying to protect myself because I was paranoid. Do this make sense to y'all? It was like my mind had no other choice but to make scenarios in the case something happened. Do this happen to any of y'all? I'm not saying this because you got PTSD, but this also happens to people. You make up a scenario in your head, these what ifs, and if this should happen, X, Y, and Z, being paranoid about stuff that's not even coming. That is because your thought life needs to be reframed. There can be nothing wrong. There can be nothing wrong. God bless y'all. I'm gonna just give a shout out. He ain't up here, but God bless my man of God, because there can be nothing wrong. And in my head, so alert, and he's like, hey, what? I'm like, alert, it's an alert. It's an alert. Something is wrong. It's like, no, it's not. Spiraling, self-sabotage, all of these things were happening to me. So what did I have to do? Because this can happen to anybody at any time who has been a victim of something, right? So if you got the book, you know I've been a victim of sexual assault. You know I've been a victim of physical assault. You know from the book I've been a victim of manipulation and gaslighting for years at a time. I mean years at a time. to the point that I did not recognize myself. I didn't even know who I was no more, because in my brain, all I knew was what was being said to me. It's like I was being brainwashed to become a person that I did not know. So when I finally took myself out of those situations, things were still happening. Like I was being accused of stuff by people who were supposed to be like in charge. It was a lot happening. And then I said, okay, something's wrong. My brain is not physically able to not be afraid. Now, on top of this, y'all, I'm just telling y'all my part, okay? Hopefully this is helping you. On top of the mental and emotional side, I was also born very prophetic. So this did not, y'all, what is this? So this did not include seeing demonic forces in the middle of the night. This did not include having dreams about war and waking up to pray for countries that I had no clue this stuff was that. This did not include the spiritual realm or spiritual side of my mind. It did not include it. So not only was I paranoid, but I also was seeing everything all the time. So at some point I had to stop and say, what are we finna do about this? We got to figure this out. And I mean right now, because if not, I'm going to think myself into a frenzy. If not, I am never going to be able to function in healthy relationships with friends, with a partner, with mom, dad, a family. I'm never going to be able to function healthily if I don't get my mind right. Okay, do this make sense to y'all? So now let's read 2 Corinthians, y'all, 10:4-5. And then I'm going to give y'all a demonstration of how to do this. I hope this is helping y'all. I really hope this is helping y'all. Reframing your thoughts when you've been thinking a certain way for so long and seeing the world around you a certain way, seeing yourself a certain way, seeing other people a certain way can be hard. It can be extremely taxing. But the more you start paying attention, the more you'll pick it up. It's like it'll become second nature. Like today, I told y'all I was in the middle of doing something else, and I said something very like, "What? Why would you? Don't do that again." Okay, and I moved on. Right? So let's read 2 Corinthians 10:4-5. It says, "The weapons of our warfare," I need some glasses on, "are not physical weapons of flesh and blood." This is the Amplified version. "Our weapons are divinely powerful for the destruction of fortresses." I want y'all to type that in the chat. Fortresses. Fortresses. Verse 5, "We are destroying sophisticated arguments and every exalted and proud thing that sets itself up against the true knowledge of God. And we are taking every thought captive. Every thought and purpose captive to the obedience of Christ." Verse 6, "Being ready to punish every act of disobedience when your own disobedience as a church is complete." So this is Paul. He's writing to the church of Corinth. So that last part, is showing that he's talking to the church. He's talking to saved people. For all of the people of God that think they don't need mental health. Yes, you do. Yes, you do need that. Obviously, Paul is saying, hey, church, get your mind right. I'm sorry. That was a tangent. The reason why I wanted y'all to put fortresses in the chat is because if y'all remember, I was talking about gates versus walls. Y'all remember that? I was saying gates versus walls. A fortress is a built up wall that can't be brought down. This is what happens in our mind, right? So I want you to imagine yourself standing in the middle of a tower, And there's a fortress that has been built up around you. And the fortress that has been built are your beliefs. You've built on beliefs upon beliefs upon beliefs upon beliefs based on your thoughts. But the scripture says to destroy the fortress. Our weapons are divinely powerful for the destruction of fortresses. The fortress that we're referring to tonight is the fortress you built in your mind off of these broken beliefs about you, these broken beliefs about your life, these broken beliefs about your world, all based on experience. We say experience is the best teacher, right? Yes, but there are some things we learn from experience that we should not build our beliefs upon. Y'all remember we said that beliefs are things that we take to be true. So there are thoughts that build your beliefs that are not true. Every thought that comes into your mind is not a true fact. Every thought is not a fact. Every thought can't build a belief, or it shouldn't. The word says sophisticated arguments. Sophisticated arguments. These thoughts, even those who deal with like double-mindedness and self-doubt and doubting everything, going to and fro, tossed like the wind, being unstable in the mind, those are sophisticated arguments that we have to destroy. And I don't want it to sound harsh, right? But we physically have to participate in the war in our mind. So y'all remember I was talking about being diagnosed last year with PTSD, right? And going through the therapy, I was in intense care. I mean, my therapist was not playing no games with me, okay? To get through that. And you remember I said, well, I ain't been in no war, but my mind thought I had. For those of us that only know I need to fight my way out of this. You're only used to fighting. That's why your mind is always in a battle. That's why you're always trying to defend. People who are extremely defensive, something is going on in your mind. I have a very particular family member that you can say one thing, and I mean, she shoot to 1,000, and I'll be like, bro, are you okay? What is going on in your mind to make you think somebody saying, do you want lemonade, meant that they was trying to fight you? They said, do you want a glass of lemonade? What did you hear? So let's get into that. What did you hear? They said, do you want lemonade? But what did you hear? Okay, this is why your thoughts and your beliefs influence your behaviors. Because if somebody's saying one thing to you and you hear it a different way and you become defensive, you believed something in your mind before they even said what they said. When you've been a victim so long, you think, we've been saying this over and over again, that everybody's out to get you in some way. Now everybody is an accuser. Now everybody is an abuser. Everybody is trying to hurt you. That's a fortress in your mind that has to be destroyed. So how can we get through this? How can we come out on the other side? I hope this is helping y'all. How can we destroy these false arguments? Let me put this in before we go there. Every thought is not bad, right? You have positive thoughts, you have negative thoughts, but something that I like, and you have emotions, right? Something that I like that my therapist told me all the time was, how about we just stop categorizing these as negative and positive and just call them emotions? All of this plays a role in perspective shifting. This is what I feel. This is what I thought. Now, what do I believe? Do I believe what I feel? Everything you feel is not true. I'm telling you right now. I feel this way. I'm thinking this way. Now, let me put these things in perspective. This making sense? And see, what do I believe? Because belief is where we mess up. Because when we don't actively take the thought captive and assess the thought, assess what's being thrown at us or thought towards us, or what we think about ourselves from our soul, or think about a thing, if we don't stop to take it captive, that thought is just still there. Now that thought is helping you to build a belief on something and causing you to behave indifferently. There are ways. I'm going to use children for example. I love the little lambs, right? But there are ways. There are ways, y'all, that children behave that is based on something that they saw. Children do not have the same mental capacity or intelligence as adults. I'm not giving children an excuse, but I am saying children are able to just take what they see, what they heard, and run with it. The little lambs, they take what they see, what they heard, and they run with it. They are not able necessarily to stop and say, hey, where did that come from? They just like, oh, that's what I saw, that's what I heard, so that's what I did. That is how some of us be. I'm sorry for yelling, but I'm just putting it like it is. Some of us are little lambs. I love y'all. Some of us are little lambs. We just take what we thought and take what we feel and take what we saw and run with it. And we never stop to say, who said that? In the garden, God said to Adam, who told you you were naked? How did you even come up with that? Where did that come from? Some of you, and I just feel this in the room, so I'm going to say it. Some of you have had falling outs with people because of what you believe, not what actually happened. You took something that was said or done towards you and put it in the same bucket and the same scenario as a traumatic experience, and now they're gone. You done cut them off. That is you, woman of God. Probably need to go apologize to them, because what you heard them say and what they said is not what happened. We can no longer afford, y'all. I hope this is making sense. We can no longer afford to not take inventory regularly of our thoughts. The thoughts that are thought towards you. What is the Lord thinking towards you? You can choose whether to let a demonic poisonous perspective into your mind. And there are things that we process out of our soul that either just have to be processed to figure it out, or it's like, I have to get this out of my soul. Do this make sense to y'all? When it comes to shifting your perspective, the number one thing I need you to do, I'm going to tell y'all this, and we done, is ask questions. Ask questions. Why am I making this so simple? Because where we go wrong oftentimes is trying to change the external things, trying to change behaviors, not realizing that behaviors are just the end of the thing. The thought was the beginning. The belief was in the middle. So you can't change your external world or how you act or how you behave without first going back to the thoughts. When you start assessing those thoughts and asking questions about those thoughts, you then are able to build better beliefs. As you build better beliefs, you immediately start to act differently. I'm just going to use this as an example because I've seen it firsthand, so I know what it looks like. That's like somebody converting from Christianity to, let's say, Hebrew Israelism, right? When you take on a new thought and you start believing the thing, everything about you externally then changes. It's a ripple effect. So you can't start at the behavior and try to change yourself there. I don't want to do this like this no more. I don't want to act like this. I don't want to such and such and such and such externally, forgetting all of what is happening around me, all of what is happening from me, all of the way I am acting is because of how I think. So the first thing I need to do is assess and ask questions. You have to intentionally, I'm sorry, I was moving on. That's the first thing. Assess and ask questions. Number 2 is you have to intentionally replace your thoughts with his word and with positive thoughts about yourself and your situation. If you can make up a scenario if your mind can make up a scenario that is not true, your mind can create a world in your mind to intentionally replace what's been happening in your mind. I hope that makes sense. If you can scenariolize, I don't even know if that's a word, something negative about a thing, you can also change it. So number 1 is assess and ask questions. Okay. Number 2 is you have to intentionally replace those thoughts. Intentionally replace them. Once you replace them, you rehearse them. So I'm going to give y'all 3 R's. So you reflect. Let's type this in the chat. You reflect. I want to say reframe, but I'm going to say replace to make it simple. You reflect, you replace, and you rehearse. I can't spell, obviously. You reflect, you replace, and you rehearse. Reflect, replace, and rehearse. What you rehearse, so rehearsing a thing is really meditating on it. I'm not talking about the meditation that empties your mind. We don't do that over here. That is flat out witchcraft. I don't care what you say. I'm standing on business, big business, the Lord's business. Meditating to empty your mind is Eastern meditation. That is Hinduism, and we don't do that. You rehearse the new thoughts, which means you're meditating on something new. You're meditating on his word. You're meditating on the positive side of things. You're rehearsing a new, and then as you rehearse that thing and you meditate on it, it becomes your way of thinking now. You are now creating a new thought pattern. That new thought pattern is going to turn into, this is what I believe about myself. This is what I believe about God. This is what I believe about my past. So let me just give y'all this too, right? Going back to my story. I had to work with my therapist to reframe how I saw my experiences, how I saw my past. Because in order for me to no longer be afraid or paranoid or living like I was in danger, I had to reframe the way I saw what happened. So the things that I'm giving y'all, that started with forgiveness. I have to forgive the people, forgive myself. I even had to go back to the ages at which things happened to say, I forgive the 13-year-old Sharnice Ford. I forgive the 17-year-old Sharnice Ford. I had to reframe how I saw what happened. Okay, so you have to reflect, replace, and rehearse. When you think better about something, you believe differently about it, and then you behave differently. Okay, did that make sense to y'all? Now, since I slowed down and I teach tonight, I want y'all, if y'all have any questions, please put them in the chat. This is a safe place. Or even if you want to DM me later and say, this is what's happening to me, I want to talk to you about it, we can do that. But your takeaway is to reflect, replace the thoughts. You will not have to replace all of your thoughts, but you will have to replace some of them so that you can start rehearsing new thoughts. You should be rehearsing the word in your head. So I'm going to say this. The reason why I will always start with saying rehearse the word is because the word is our only defensive mechanism in our armor. The word is our only defensive mechanism in spiritual warfare. Spiritual warfare, more often than not, I will say every time, is in the mind. That is the only defense you have. It is the word. So you have to rehearse it so that it is always playing in your mind. Rehearse the word. Then you also rehearse positive thoughts. We like to talk about like I am affirmations all of the time. I will always say that these affirmations should 99% be biblically based, because I'm not going to sit around here saying I am something that the I am did not tell me that I was, or that he does not also say that I am. I'm just saying. I'm not being deep, but it's that deep to me. Because we'll be rehearsing stuff and then turn around looking like, well, where did I get that from? It's because of something you said. I'm back. Reflect, replace, and rehearse. Okay. I don't see no questions in the chat. So I'm going to remind y'all again. Y'all, today is day 2. I hope y'all enjoyed this very, very, I'm going to say digestible teaching that you can take away and implement right now. Okay, you can take it away and implement it right now. Okay, now I want to release something to y'all. This is only to y'all. Okay, that I've been working on for years, that I never thought I was gonna get to, because y'all just found out, right, that last year my therapist diagnosed me with PTSD. So there have been levels and levels and layers of healing that I have had to go through before I could get here. Before I could host this challenge, there were levels of healing that had to happen. There have been levels of healing that have been happening even through the challenge with me. Me being able to talk about this stuff shows me the levels of healing that I have gone through. Okay? So, I want to release something to y'all, because the challenge ends tomorrow, but you don't have to end the journey. Okay? You don't have to end the journey. Thank you, Nikita. Thank you for not quitting. The challenge ends tomorrow, but the journey does not have to end tomorrow. Okay? Why? Because I think y'all can still hear me. Because I am releasing to y'all, this is a 7-week course called the Heal Her Soul course. Okay? It is a soul care, intensive care, and intensive healing course so that we can uproot fruitless seeds together so that you can have sustainable soul wellness, so that you're not always going back and forth in your mind, so that your mind is well, right? So that you can pursue wholeness, that you can pursue purpose. This is literally all about healing your soul so that you can get to the next place. We've been talking about going from victim to victor. Once you recognize who you are as a victor, then there is work for you to do. The Lord does not just heal you up and set you on the path to wholeness so you can sit still. It's so that you can now produce. I want everybody to type in the chat, produce. You can produce. You can produce. This is literally 7 weeks. We're going through identity, forgiveness, demonic doorways, so you can see how these things come in. We're going to have a lesson on emotional healing and regulation, because that's a real thing. Reframing your thought patterns, self-acceptance and awareness, and soul maintenance, because your soul has to be maintenance often. The same way that we are always being sanctified in our soul with the Lord, it's the same way you have to maintenance your soul. Your mind, your will, and your emotions have to be maintenance, okay? So we're going to have weekly class. We're going to have intentional healing assignments. I'm giving y'all a soul maintenance e-guide, okay? And we're going to have our own private community. And you can choose whether or not you want to have an inner healing, a one-on-one, or one-on me and my deliverance team, my mentor, okay, because the woman of God, she cast out devils by the finger of God, okay? Inner healing and a deliverance session with me, okay? And for y'all, now when I tell y'all this price, I want y'all to jump on it, because I don't want y'all to end this journey here, okay? For the rest of this week, only this week, y'all can join this course for only $77, y'all. And you can use Afterpay. If you want to join the course, you want to join the women, we have our own private community where we're going to be talking all the time, doing healing assignments. I'm going to be doing prayer with y'all. I'm going to be doing something called Sister Circle Nights. As the Lord leads me. He actually gave me that today. That's why you don't see it up here. But the Heal Her Sister Circle, where we'll just come together and be together, share our stories in a safe place. So it won't just be me teaching you, but it'll be peer motivation, peer empowerment, a literal sister circle. Y'all, it's a soul wellness course for women of faith who are ready to heal and pursue purpose and build, okay? I want y'all to type in the chat one more time, produce. It is only for y'all for the next, from today to Friday, y'all. It is only $77 and it is on Afterpay. So when you go to my website, charlottestrategies.com, when you go to checkout, it will give you the option to use Afterpay, okay? We don't start until May 14th, but that $77 is going up on Saturday. So if you want to get in, make sure you get in now, okay? Because the $77 will not always be there. Okay, it will not always be there, but it will be like a continuance and a deeper level of intensive care. And the reason why, y'all, I call it intensive care is because you have to be intentional with people's souls, right? This is not for play. There was a time, just giving y'all a backstory, there was a time when I started my master's, y'all, I was getting a master's of public administration. My plan was to work for the government. I wanted to be an analyst. I wanted to be in the CIA. I wanted to use all my analytical skills as a political scientist to go into public administration and work for governors and senators and X, Y, and Z. And in the middle of me getting that degree, I got a prophetic word that said, you are a soul healer. And you need to get a degree that is in alignment with your purpose and not what you want to do. So you know what I did? Actually, what I did was I tried to keep going. But as I returned to class, I'm in all of these law classes. I'm learning how to make public policies and regulating people. And I started to fail. I have never failed in school in my life. I've been an honor roll student, an all A student, an AB student my entire life. And all of a sudden, I could not think in class. It was like, I know this stuff and I can't think. So I said, okay, Lord, you get your way. So instead of continuing with getting an MPA, I got a master's in counseling. And it is not until, as of recent, that I understand why I needed it, because of this. Because I do not play when it comes to helping people heal their souls with Christian principles. There are a lot of ways now, sorry y'all. There are a lot of ways now that people are being taught to heal themselves. That is not what we're doing. The only way that you can receive true inner healing for your soul is through delivering the demons and dealing with the damage they left behind. And the only person who can do that is Jesus. Just keeping it, keeping it a stack. Okay? So today, tomorrow, and Friday, the course for y'all is only $77. And you can you can also use Afterpay. It is $77 for the full payment for the first tier. If you are somebody who wants the one-on-one session or the inner healing and deliverance with me, that is a different price. But you can go ahead now to charterstrategist.com. Okay, charterstrategist.com. If you want to use the backslash, it is /heal her soul. Heal her soul. Excuse me. Because that is what we are focusing on. Okay. Now I want y'all to come back tomorrow. This course is happening later. This challenge is still happening now. Okay. Tomorrow, I feel like tomorrow is going to be my favorite day. I don't know. I feel like yesterday was my favorite day because I'm a deliverance minister. So yesterday was real like, ooh, deliverance. However, tomorrow we are talking about and praying about the power of adoption. The power of adoption in Christ. Okay. We were all adopted into sonship by the blood of Jesus. We were all blood bought. I love to say that. I've been blood bought. Okay. So your identity in God, your identity in Christ is what sustains you through life. So you have to know the power of your authority as a daughter to really move and be a victor, to really walk, as a victor is what I want to say. So I love y'all. Y'all go to the website. Even if you don't know if it's for you just yet, go to the website anyway. www.charterstrategist.com. Okay. And it'll take you straight there. I want to see y'all in the course. I want to see y'all tomorrow, 8:00 in the morning. 8:00 a.m. Eastern for prayer. And then 8:00 p.m. for our last class. The challenge ends tomorrow, but you can join the course so you can continue your healing journey. Okay. I'm going to see y'all in the morning. I told you I'm trying to keep this below an hour. So I'm right at my hour. So I'm doing good. Okay. I love y'all. I can't wait to see y'all in the morning in prayer. Y'all do me a favor and invite a sister. Okay. Tomorrow we're going deep into identity. I want y'all to bring a friend. Okay. I know it's not like we in person where I can actually see whether you brought a friend or not, but be integral and bring a friend. Okay. I will see y'all tomorrow. Please, 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 if you know you want to continue your healing journey and you need guidance, you need somebody who is equipped, who is educated, and who has the experience to take you through it, please join me in the course. See y'all tomorrow. Bye.